Let's look at some problems where we convert decimals to percent form. To convert a number to percent form, you need to multiply by 100 and write the percent sign. Let's go ahead and do that with these numbers. Our first number is 0.25. 0.25 I could write as just 0.25. The 0 in front of the decimal point is optional. You can write it if you want, but you don't have to. Now, to convert to percent form, I take 0.25 and multiply by 100%. There's a shortcut way we can multiply a decimal by 100. I write my decimal, 0.25, and if I move the decimal point 2 places to the right, to here, just to the right of the 5, that's the same as multiplying by 100. Now I also need to write my percent sign here. What I have is 25 point percent. When the decimal point ends up at the right end of a number, it doesn't need to be written. That's the same as the whole number 25%. Now, if you don't like the shortcut way for multiplying by 100, you can also multiply the long way. You can take 100 times 0.25 and go through the decimal multiplication process. 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 1 is 5, 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 1 is 2. I get 0, 0, 5, 2 here. And then I need to figure out where the decimal point goes in my answer. Let's see, I have a total of 2 decimal places in the numbers I'm multiplying. So I start at the right and I move 2 places over to here. I get 25.00. I don't need to write those zeros on the end beyond the decimal point, so I have a result of just 25. Because I was multiplying by 100%, my answer here is 25%. 25% is the same as the answer we got using the shortcut method. Let's do this again with another decimal. In B, we have 0.056. Again, I don't need to write the 0 in front of the decimal point. I could just write 0.056. But the 0 between the decimal point and the 5 is essential. It has to be written. Now I'm going to multiply by 100% to convert to percent form. If we use our shortcut method, 0.056 I start out with, and I move that decimal point 1, 2 places to the right, it ends up right between the 5 and the 6. And I write my percent sign. What I have now is 5.6%. Notice that now the 0 in front does not need to be written because it's out on the left beyond the decimal point. It's out in the whole number part of my decimal at this point. So we have 5.6%. If you prefer, again, you could have taken 100 times 0.056 and done the multiplication the long way. 6 times 0 is 0, 0, 6 times 1 is 6, 0, 0, 5, 0, 0, 0, add up. And let's see, I have 3 decimal places in the numbers I'm multiplying, so I move 1, 2, 3 places from the right. Here I have unnecessary zeros on the right and the left. I just need to keep the 5.6 in my answer. Because I was multiplying by 100%, I end up with 5.6%. Same number we got using the shortcut. Let's do another, 1.4. To convert to percent form, I'll take 1.4 times 100%. If I use the shortcut method here, starting with 1.4, moving that decimal point 2 places to the right, that means I need to write a 0 to the right of the 4, and my decimal point ends up to the right of that 0. I now have a percent, so I write my percent sign. Now, this is a whole number percent. I have 140%. And once again, I could have multiplied by 100 using long multiplication. Let's go ahead and do that to check. 0, 0, 1, add them up. And notice here, let's see, I have just one decimal place in the numbers I'm multiplying. So I start at the right, and I just move one place over. This 0 is unnecessary, but the 0 between the 4 and the decimal point I need to keep. So that's actually 140. Because I was multiplying by 100%, I end up with 140% as a result. And now finally, just one more. Now, here I have the number 3. Actually, 3 is a whole number. But we can think of 3 as a decimal. I can write a whole number as a decimal by placing a decimal point at the right end of that whole number, just to the right of the ones place. I can convert 3 to percent form by taking 3 times 100 and adding on the percent sign. Our shortcut method for multiplying still works here because 3 has a decimal point and I can move it 2 places to the right. Now to do that, I need to write 2 zeros to the right of the 3 and then recopy my percent sign. 300 is a whole number, so I have 300%. Again, the long multiplication way also works here, and in fact, I could have worked this out just doing whole number multiplication without even introducing the decimal point. 100 times 3 is 300, so 100% times 3 is 300%. And there we have our percent forms for these numbers.